Today, we'll take a look at Watch Dogs Legion and see if the third title in this series is actually worth your precious free time. Start off by saying, we were excited to head to London for the third installment in the Watch Dogs series. We were fans of the first two, but sadly, when we arrived, we were kinda disappointed discovering that the connections between this title and the first two games were few and far between. Let's take a look at the basics. Just like in the first two games, you're involved with the underground hacker group DedSec. And also, like in the first two, you're fighting back against corporate groups looking to steal your freedom and your information. Sadly, that's about where the similarities end. You see, one of the big things that makes this game different from the others is that you're not fighting for the man. You're in a way just fighting for you. We won't spoil anything, but unlike the first two, where in one of them you were out for revenge and the other one you were looking to take down an evil network, in this one you're kinda just out to fight for yourself and looking to clear your name. You do try to do some good along the way, but you're really not looking to do good for everyone like you were before. Another thing that separates this title from the first two is that some of the cooler hacks are gone. Stuff like blackouts and streetlight hacks and peering in on people as they're hanging out in their house. Yep, none of that stuff's around anymore. And the big thing that's supposed to be good about being different in this game, and that most other reviews and the marketing is really pushing, is that Watch Dogs Legion has got no main character. And that, like the cake, is a lie. This game very much has a main character. It just isn't one of the humans. And no, it isn't the AI that talks to all the characters either. The main character in this game is the spider bot. And we'll get into that in just a moment. You see, the problem we have is that most of the marketing for Watch Dogs Legion has been around the fact that you have the ability to recruit anyone. And, although that is true, thing is, most of the time, that really doesn't matter as far as the gameplay goes. Sure, there are some citizens wandering around with a weapon that isn't normally in your arsenal, and others that have a get-out-of-jail-free card or can get you a discount at the stores. But honestly, in the end, most of it seems to make very little difference in the overall experience. And if you're trying to stay on the non-lethal path, which you might want to as a DedSec Legionnaire, there's even less need to look for and recruit certain people because a lot of the special weapons are just that. Weapons. Now, we won't say you shouldn't do it at all. There are a handful of people that are worth being found and worth the effort of hunting down and recruiting. That's because they do actually add some useful special abilities to your team. Problem is, we actually never played as them. We only recruited them. The only person we recruited and actually spent any real time playing as was the Stage Magician. This is because their pocket watch ability is actually very useful since it turns an enemy into an ally for a short period of time. That is very useful, especially in large groups of enemies. Access to restricted areas with the proper operative seems like it would be a big advantage with the large number of restricted areas that there are on the map. But, trouble is, even when you're in uniform and following all the rules, at least in our opinion, you get noticed too quickly for someone who is supposed to be there. So in the end, it's honestly easier to sneak in with the spider bot than try to be all incognito with a uniformed operative. So because of this, the whole idea of the variety of operatives really matters very little. And once you upgrade your tech, you share it across all your operatives as well, making very few of the sort of special ones not very special at all anymore. The upgrades, however, make you realize that this game is really not about the characters at all. It's all about the tech, how you use it, and how it uses you. There are themes like that and issues about tech all throughout this game. So don't really worry about your characters, because, again, they don't matter very much at all. Worry about the tech. And for your own tech, there's an upgrade system that thankfully does not use a tree system. You simply collect points for upgrading it, either from doing missions or by simply exploring the map. This means you can take a look at what's available to you, run around and gather tech points, then you can have exactly what you want and play the game your own way. We will warn you, however, a lot of the tech that's available seems really cool, but we found, at least in the end, even though we did buy it all, we didn't use most of it. This brings us back to the real star of the show, the spider bot, which, to tell you the truth, only has 6 legs. So technically, that's not a spider. But the reason this piece of tech is truly the main character is because an upgraded spider bot can collect documents, open boxes, open doors, interact with other tech, and even be used to clear a room of enemies faster and easier than an operative could. That is thanks to the spider bot's size, ability to cloak itself, and its unbelievable shock attack. In fact, if you fully upgrade your spider bot, there are only a couple places where you absolutely must use an operative. And that's because with all of the marvelous things a spider bot can do, for some reason, it cannot push a button to call an elevator, and it can't free a person that's being held captive. However, if you've already used your spider bot to clear an area of the enemies using its other wonderful abilities, your operative can just stroll in and do what the spider bot can't with no problems at all. We probably played 75 to 80% of our game as the spider bot or as a drone. Once we had the drone expert on our team, we would use the drone to scout out locations, do the hacker puzzles, and then deploy our spider bot to complete the mission. The mix of spider bot and drone on demand meant we almost never had to physically enter a place at all. And we didn't need a special operative to step into restricted areas because we didn't have to go into restricted areas. Here's the quick breakdown. As far as length goes, that's really up to you. There is a main story, and there are some side quests, but you can blow through all of that in about 20 hours if you're really cranking along. If you want to stretch things out, though, there are a whole lot of other things to do in between. Without spoiling anything, we'll say that the story is broken up into several alright chapters. And honestly, for an open world game, those chapters are pretty linear. Gameplay was very glitchy. Yeah, a lot of stuff was broken. We got stuck in a lot of places, our game crashed a lot, and we had to quit and restart several times. The lack of manual save and load combined with those issues really made the experience much, much worse. Music and sound effects are what you'd expect, but nothing really stood out on either side. We will say that after the first patch that rolled out, sound started coming out of our PS4 controller. That was pretty cool. As far as fun goes, we think that depends on your enjoyment of the tech part of the game. If you love doing the simpler side of hacking from the earlier games, and you really enjoy being a spider bot, then you will love this game. If you were looking forward to the magic of all the variety of the characters based on all that marketing, we don't think you're going to find what you're looking for here.